The idea behind the farm-to-table movement is to get you eating food with local ingredients, including animals raised humanely. But Don Dalher shows us how one of the nation's leading chefs is challenging that thinking. Don, good morning.
Good morning. Dan Barber wants each chef, diner, and home cook to ask themselves one question before they shop for dinner or eat out at a restaurant. What can the farmland around my dinner table adequately provide without pumping the ground full of artificial fertilizers and pesticides?
4 bundle, 4 Julio, 4 egg, 4 duck, and ending 4 pig.
Yes! Inside the kitchen at Blue Hill at Stone Barns, Chef Dan Barber calls out orders.
2 halibut.
Not based on what diners requested, but based on what the farm harvested that day.
When people come to your restaurant tonight, is the waiter going to hand them a menu?
We have no menus here. There's been a lot of pushback for a menu, and people are paying a lot of money, and they're waiting 2 months to come here tonight. So I see that. What I'm shocked about is the equal number of people who come here and say, oh, there's no menu? Oh, thank God. I don't have to decide.
The restaurant deliberately avoids handing out menus, instead allowing the farm supplying the kitchen to dictate the meal.
It's all about working with nature instead of imposing our diets on nature and expecting that nature will produce what we want.
Barber recently wrote The Third Plate, Field Notes on the Future of Food, a food manifesto calling for major changes in the American diet and how that food is grown.
What is the third plate?
It's a metaphor for a way of eating for the future. It is a radical relook at our expectations for dinner.
Instead of the typical American dinner where the protein takes center stage, Barber asks Americans to make vegetables the main act.
I don't love the angle of the American diet needs to be more healthy, because what's the definition of health? I don't know. I don't exactly. I know it's less sugar, I guess, and probably a little less fat. But really, it's about what does the landscape want to provide, and how can our diets be fashioned to support that?
Barber implements the third plate mentality at his 2 restaurants, Blue Hill Restaurant in New York City and Blue Hill at Stone Barns in Pocantico Hills, New York. Barber grew up on a farm. Locally grown to him means cooking with produce grown outside the kitchen door, guaranteeing the highest level of nutrition and, of course, flavor.
What one spoonful of something could you offer an American that kind of illustrates what you're talking about, that you're missing out on right now in your current diet?
What time of year are we talking about, and where?
How about right here, right now?
Okay, done. Peas. I tasted the first flush from this farm. I was just like, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. I've been munching on them all morning. But I'm so excited about this lowly pea.
His methods of farming extend beyond the pea to the pig. All his animals are raised humanely on the Stone Barns farm.
So the way these chickens live, this is part of the overall plan as well, isn't it?
Yeah, free range. Actually, more than free. They're freer than me and you.
And they prefer this over the feed that chickens usually get.
They
like the bugs and the grass.
Oh, yeah. They like the freedom. They get to eat what they want to eat, and it produces a better tasting yolk.
For him, the soil is sacred, which means the all-stars of summer produce, tomatoes and corn, rarely earn a spot on Barber's ideal dinner plate. They require too much fertilizer and deplete the land.
If you think of soil as a bank account and you're eating a tomato is like the Hummer of the vegetable and fruit world. And everything we eat, wheat, corn, rice, the ones we really covet, these are the most expensive. These are the big withdrawals from the bank account.
Sustainability may be an investment, but the payoff is in flavor and the future.
The way to convince Americans that the future is going to be different for a plate of food is through a delicious plate of food. I put my money in the idea that people are going to be motivated to spend a little bit more money, potentially, spend a little bit more time. Sure, we're looking at more diversity, more flavor, more potential for more nutritious and delicious food. That's exciting.
Dan Barber says this food revolution will have to be led by chefs like himself. If diners like what they eat in restaurants, they might be willing to copy those dishes at home. And of course, Americans have proven to be very adaptable with their palates. You know, you think about sushi or Creole food was not so popular a few decades ago, and now it's main part of the diet for many Americans.
Yeah, I like his idea. I really do like his idea.
And his food is good.
Yeah. Another tough assignment, Don,
yes.
right? Don, thanks.
Sure.